Good evening. Really excited for today. In chapter 18, Pip had peripeteia, a reversal of fortune. Things turned around in a dramatic way for Pip. He went from an indentured blacksmith's apprentice to everything he ever yearned for. He's on his way to becoming a young gentleman. So it really does feel like the first day of the rest of Pip's life. And so for me, even though we're chapter 19, we're 18 chapters done in the books, I have a fresh energy, a new lease of life. And it's worth remembering, I suppose, that every day is in fact the start of the rest of our lives. I will mention that Chicago is experiencing horrible air quality right now. So I've been, coughing all day, and it's from the Canadian wildfires. So if my, throat is scratchy, and if I have to, keep drinking my sort of hot water with honey, that's one of the reasons why. But enough excuses. Let's crack on. Chapter 19. Pip's new life begins. Morning made a or clean gone. Much like the tourists who probably were hoping to come to Chicago only to find their week obliterated by fog. More smoke, not fog. But let me just remind you guys that yes, Pip has got everything he yearned for, but the chapter ended on a tinge of sadness as a distance had crept in between Pip and then Joe and Biddy. So let's see where that goes. And I think, again, Dickens showing that, ecstasy and elation very often in real life as well, they're followed by sort of hollow feelings. So it's Dickens's understanding of human beings is, there's a reason why I'm retyping his work. It was brought, someone mentioned to me, Dickens is racist. I don't really care at the minute. I'm just here to pick up craft. And he has quality craft stuff. And I think, getting into the politics of his era is probably outside my remit. Joe and Biddy, if he had known all. So some of you may know your Bible, others won't. I don't know it the way I probably should, because so much of my profession, which is the manipulation of the English language, owes a large debt to the Bible, but I do know this one, which is it's harder for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven than it is for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle. So, again, Dickens warning Pip that when you get everything you wish for, it's not always what you think. After our early dinner in the village. So, firstly, it's nice to get some food back. We've been missing it, and it's welcome. But also, Pip really is becoming quite pompous with his newfound great expectation, and he is becoming quite rude in some of his observations. But I have to admit, I too have thought that about people who sort of live their lives the same way day after day. So I guess it's a common thought. If I had often thought before, with something allied to shame, of my companionship with the fugitive, whom I had once seen limping among those graves. I think it's so good when you call back a memory to use a strong physical verb. What were my thoughts? On this Sunday, when the place recalled the wretch, ragged and shivering, with his felon iron and badge, my comfort was that it happened a long time ago, and that he had doubtless been transported a long way off, and that he was dead to me, and might be veritably dead into the bargain. Of course, there's a large slice of irony for those of you who know the book in this paragraph, but it's funny, right? Like, the novelist puts things in the novel because they all connect, but the character can plausibly write off an incident from their life as not important. No more low wet grounds, my exultant way. I think even though there is some pomposity, it's very understandable that Pip would feel this way. To the old intended me for Estella. So having had one yearning satisfied, we see the other yearning more fully verbalized. Pip sort of thinks that Miss Havisham has set him up for the future, in part so that he can marry Estella. And why not? If you win the lottery once, why not think you can win it again? When I awoke, to Biddy in preference. So I think, you always I always love seeing this when an author is able to dramatize dilemmas in people's lives. So here Pip has been elevated in station, and he wants to sort of pass on the favor and elevate Joe. However, he doesn't fully understand that Joe is content and happy with his life as is, except for, of course, what happened to Mrs. Joe. So I think this is a really good dramatization of that impulse to help someone, but the person doesn't need help. It's you who feel the obligation to help. This is an excellent dramatization of that, and I think fiction is so good at giving opportunities to dramatize these sorts of things. So, when we had walked home, having rubbed yet another instance, we had the poker, we had the lawyer Jaggers with the purse, and also his finger, pointing the finger. Yet another instance of giving a character an object to hold through the duration of a conversation, the same one. And it's such a useful little trick that I'm so glad to have done this rewriting exercise and learned it. Thank you, Chuck Dickens. Having rubbed the leaf to pieces between her hands. The lane. A really good deployment of olfactory sense of smell, and also tying it to memory, and we all know smell is associated with memory. So even though they didn't know they didn't know about what we know about neuroscience and the brain, people intuited and used these things in craft without needing to know what we know through modern neuroscience. Have you never considered that on account of my rise in fortune, and you can't help showing it? So this is an escalation out of nowhere, but it's been coming, it's been growing. Pip has been feeling some kind of way, this great expectations has created a division, but this is an escalation. Especially because Biddy is, saying something eternally wise. I mean, how many people do we know take that one extra promotion, go into a place where actually they're not competent, and had they just stayed where they were, they would have been happy, but instead, they went one step further and they messed with whatever good thing they had going on. But that's sort of the larger wisdom of Dickens, but also the plot is moving here as Pip and Biddy's rift widens. If you have the heart, it's a bad side of human nature. Now, it's only because Pip has so much credit in the bank from being so tactful for so many chapters, and we really do like Pip, that we just cringe and we don't dislike this behavior from him, but we still fundamentally root for him. He's still our guy. So Dickens shows, I think this is a very, very useful thing, how to make your character do some unlikable things without being fully unlikable. Whether you scold me or approve of me, and took a dejected stroll. I love this because it's a lovely transferred epithet. The stroll is not dejected. Pip is dejected, but the adjective is attached to the noun stroll. That's called a transferred epithet. And so a dejected stroll actually captures Pip's state of mind. It's just a funny I think I learned it in high school. I had excellent lit teachers, and this was one of the things that has always stuck with me. It was transferred epithet. And orchard. And we've talked so many times about tethering now. So the word scornful was tethered to Estella. The word slouching was tethered to Orlick. And here we have prosperous quickly in one paragraph in 4 deployments attached to Trabb. And there was a pros pocket and looking at them. So this is sort of fantasy wish fulfillment that we're experiencing, right? Just walk into a shop and get whatever you want. And I think Dickens really knew how to satisfy the public, and giving some fantasy wish fulfillment, you can do it. It doesn't mean you're a bad writer. I think sometimes people think to be literary is to always resist giving the fantasy wish fulfillment, and that's not true. And so I think this is a small interaction to show the reader and Pip, now that he has property and money, everything is going to be different. Mr. Trabb's boy was the most audacious boy in all that countryside. When I had entered, so this is someone who is doing his indentures, presumably, to Mr. Trabb the tailor. So it used to be Pip's peer. So we're going to get some characterization through contrast here, I imagine. When I had entered, he was sweeping to my head. So Pip gets drunk. That's a consequence of elation. I do like the physicality of the description of the getting drunk, upside down, turning himself upside down. You really feel the drunkenness take over Pip, or rush into his head. Mr. Pumblechook poultry, and remember, in the original Christmas dinner, Pumblechook was greedy and took everything for himself. Poultry, poultry, you little thought. I think I'll stop there. And I'll finish out chapter 19 next week. This Pumblechook is such a servile, tedious fellow, and I would probably be doing myself a favor to get through this section, but I also want to rest and recover my voice, and we've already done 70 minutes. So thanks everyone, and thank you to the Office of Modern Composition and my colleagues for supporting this project. And yeah, we're halfway through chapter 9. We're going at a steady clip. We're going to see what happens with Pip. We learned there were lots of technical things to take away from this session that I will take away, and I hope you will as well if that's what you're interested in. If not, if you're watching this in the future and it's just about, going to sleep or something soothing and relaxing, I hope you enjoyed it. And see you all at a future one of these. Good night.